What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 369
Nice.
of Opinions May Vary. I'm your host, Jared. My co-host, me, Alex.
Hey.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
How are you? It is real nice.
It is.
It's nice outside. It's nice in this episode. It's nice in this room because we are joined. It's that time of the year, way back in year 1, episode 2. We talked about WrestleMania. We were giving live results as it was going on. Oh, by the way, what was happening in 2012? Who was champion? It was John Cena. It must have been John Cena. Anyways, but we can't talk about wrestling unless we're joined by our wrestling aficionado, Mr. Matthew James.
Nice.
He's got it. He was he had all the opportunities to chime in. He's like, no, I got to start it on the right foot, which is just real nice.
369.
Wouldn't have it in. That's Rey Mysterio's move, right?
It is, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's a 619.
No, it's a 3. It's a 369.
What area code is 369? Ask Siri.
It's a California somewhere.
Alexa.
Oh. I don't know.
I looked around for one.
Does he still do that? That move?
369?
He hit it. It's in his 1 minute match. He hit it against Samoa Joe, and that's
Okay.
how I knew the match was going to be 1 minute long, because within 30 seconds he's hitting the 619.
All right.
And
Well,
I was like, oh,
I guess
okay.
we'll just scroll on up to match 11. Start from there.
That's what the people want to hear.
11 of 43.
11 of 16. 16. So WrestleMania happened, and we're not a wrestling podcast, but it's the biggest one. What was it on last week? We're jumping around everywhere. In terms of viewership, it's like Super Bowl type stuff.
Mhm.
It gets more viewership than the MLB playoffs.
It's
the
my
World Series.
Super Bowl.
It's his Super
Well,
Bowl.
unless the Patriots are in the Super Bowl, which they usually are. That it's my other Super Bowl 3 months later.
I'm a very sad Giants fan these days.
Well,
Very-
hey, at least there was a Super Bowl-esque thing happening
That was-
in your stadium.
I was watching this. I was watching it with some friends. One of them also being a big Jets fan. So I turned him at one point. I was like, "Hey, man, at least something big's happening in MetLife."
Yeah, look, you'll never see more happiness in this stadium.
Other than when the
Exuberant faces.
Seahawks won there a couple years ago, but other than that, it's just disappointment, just festering in that stadium, that beautiful, enormous new stadium.
With 5 steps to get out, and 2 Ubers lined up outside.
Yeah, yep. So WrestleMania 35 was just the other day. Lot happened, and by a lot I mean 16 matches over the course of.
Yeah, from 5 to 12:30 at least.
Good Lord. That's
After
a
midnight.
shift at work.
After midnight. Yeah, it was. It's a full shift, and it felt like it too.
At times, it really did.
They
It's
should
like,
pay
can
us
I-
to watch
can
it.
I
And
go
then
on
I
break?
drink on the job heavily. It was a great run to WrestleMania. Royal Rumble was fun. Had a good time. The winner of the Royal Rumble was Seth Rollins, and then he chose to fight the Beast Brock Lesnar in what we thought was the main event. And so basically, I rented out a bar this year because 30 people in my living room was a terrible idea.
Uh-huh.
Last year, I had to shut my front door and put chairs where you would walk in, and people were climbing in through the windows, going out, smoke cigarettes. A delivery guy had to come to the back door, if you know what I mean. Nice. So I was like, you know what? I'm spending the money. I'm getting a catering. I'm renting a place. I got a banquet hall in the back of a sports bar. And so basically all day I was setting up, making sure the internet worked, which it did for the most part. It crapped out a little bit. We switched everything over to a Roku. I ran two TVs. They had a 75-inch. I brought in a 65-inch.
Damn.
And split the signal and catered it and put all my wrestling decorations up, my John Cena poster, my vinyls. I have really expensive, which I'm not ashamed to admit to you, Alex, especially in this room right now, the money I've spent on collectibles. So there are these street light vinyl banners that hang outside WrestleMania, and some printing company must have printed off a bunch and sold them online.
Yeah.
So I bought a Taker one, a Cena one, a Batista one, an H one. I have my XFL banner from 2000.
Those are neat collectibles.
Yeah,
Because it's not like a lot of people are going to get those. You're not going to see them very often.
No,
in other
this
people's
is
houses.
definitely, there was ones that I saw that you could tell were cut off streetlights, and then there's ones that I saw that you could tell it was the people that were hired to make them, and they were plus 80 for us for eBay. So I had those set up. I had someone hand paint a sign, and I'll send you that logo for this episode of, I was trying to figure out, should I call my private event WrestleJames-ia or MatthewMania, but I
Right.
just went with MatthewJames-ia. That's what I called it. So I've got the WrestleMania logo. I had a guy at Conifer Studios, Josh Unsteffer, turn the WrestleMania logo into MatthewJames-ia 35, and then I hired an artist in Springfield, Allie Marion, to actually paint it out on like 6 poster boards that we taped together and like with painter's tape. She just like painted over the tape. So I had a sign we could point at. We got too drunk to point at it.
Right.
So that's to set the scene.
You have to point to the sign and then wait for the ref tell you to move.
Get out of the way.
And then
now,
for the fireworks to go off.
And then the fireworks go off. Oh, it's so awkward with Randy Orton winning the Rumble that year. And he's like, now Randy. And Randy literally gets mad because he's been out there 4 minutes like celebrating this victory, and apparently none of it counted because the referee
Point to the sign again.
Point to it. You're not pointing at it hard enough.
What?
So I've got that sign. So everything was set up. I watched the Kurt Hawkins match, which was like I think like match 2 or 3. I missed the first couple matches. Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder for the tag championships were the first ones that I saw, and Michael Cole's like, how much would it mean for Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder to win this championship just over the river from where everything's just over the river in WWE land? They're like, just over the river at Long Island. I was like, yeah, just over the river, and then Manhattan, and then another river, and then Roosevelt Island, kind of, if you're going that way, over the 59th Street Bridge, then a little more river, then Queens, and then eventually Long Island. Like, so they
It's just
won.
a nice way of not saying New Jersey.
They were allergic to saying New Jersey. In the shadows of New York City, instead of in the chemtrail shadows of Newark. Next to the tire fire.
where 2 legendary sports teams are housed at MetLife Stadium.
That is near where it smells.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
as you cross New Jersey, like you get hit with a smell of some kind, but that's where some plants are. So
There's also there's some good things.
Yeah, the
in
plants,
Jersey.
aka Jersey.
There's a couple.
As soon as the entire opening of The Sopranos smells. Whatever you're want, with his whole drive there, over the bridge, through the drive safely, gas tanks, and the Garden State
Parkway.
What are they growing? Waste, toxic waste. Ah, man, I could have had a better line there. But the meat and potatoes of it was there. What are they growing? Skin cancer, lung cancer. Ah,
we'll use take
chop
2.
one up. Use one.
We'll use take 2.
Take your bit.
So
Put
the
one
lead
on
up
one side of
to
the headphones.
WrestleMania, we did get and Kurt Hawkins was even wearing an homage to the New York Jets on his trunks because it said CURT Kurt. The Jets thing is JET. Yeah, it's Jets.
Oh, okay.
Because
sports.
the Jets.
Alex left.
Sport. Yeah, Alex has left the
He
chat.
lost.
That's nifty.
So apparently Kurt Hawkins had an insane losing streak. That's his
Yes,
thing.
he has not won in, I believe, over a year. That's his whole.
It's like
his whole
200
thing.
matches or something.
More than that, I assume.
Good
Yeah.
for
So
him.
his whole shirt is just like crossouts of like, but like, how great is he if his pitch 2 years ago was like, look, I'm gonna lose for 2 years, but then I'm gonna win for a year or 2 years.
Then
and they're
you're gonna
like,
slap a
all
belt on
right.
me.
And now they like he lost for 2 years, and now it's like put up or shut up time. WWE, and they're like, oh fuck.
I wonder if that's a thing where it's his idea. If it's your idea, then that's fantastic. But if it's Creative's idea and they pitch it to you and you're like, are you serious? I have to lose?
Yeah, maybe,
how
but
long?
he's a smart guy. Brian Myers a really smart dude and handsome, and like
That's what's important.
whatever. He's there. People care. You know what I mean? And like, even if it wasn't, it might have been, I might be shocked. It might be like an 8-month thing, but it's like, it's been happening so long. You're like, 2 years he's been losing. And that's just like how wrestling lore
But
gets
wins and
going.
losses don't matter or don't count.
That's right.
Is
Which
that
is
what they
why
say?
he's the smartest guy on the roster.
I think it's.
Now he's got a tag belt.
I watched so much like UFC and stuff. I figured, wow, to lose 200 matches consecutively, that must be like a 10-year streak.
Oh no.
I didn't realize that you could wrestle
Hey,
200
for
times.
a weekend, yeah.
That's and a lot of things in this were kind of shocking to me. Like there were some times where I'm watching some of these matches and I'm like expecting certain things to happen, and I'm like, oh right, this is professional wrestling. This isn't.
Do you have an example?
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay.
Oh great.
Like there was one during one of the women's matches where like one of them was just like straight up in guard, like, and they were like doing ground and pound. And I was like,
cool.
what am I watching?
Well, it wasn't the main because you didn't stay awake that long.
It's
but
true.
it
I was
must have been
very
the-
much in bed. for the main event, which we'll get to.
After that was the Braun Strowman winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which the last two people he eliminated were Michael Che and Colin Jost of SNL.
From SNL's Weekend Update.
From Weekend Update.
One of them wearing a...
Oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Colin Jost had
an Odell Beckham Jr. jersey on.
Okay.
Odell Beckham Jr. was a player. The New York Giants drafted him. Lights out, explosive, generational talent, best wide receiver. Just signed a record contract with the Giants, and then the Giants traded him to the Browns. So he was wearing a Cleveland Browns Odell Beckham Jr. shirt in the stadium that the Giants play in.
That's funny to me.
Yeah.
It's funny to me.
I'm glad it's funny to you. Someone pointed out that it would have been even better if he was wearing a Giants jersey with Gettleman on the back. Gettleman is the GM who traded Odell Beckham Jr.
That'd be a good one.
Do they make jerseys for that?
No, you can custom make them.
Yeah, but we just watched a 9-minute Batista get sneakers turned into a whole outfit video. So
yeah, Braun Strowman, he did some strongman things.
I watched. So I used to work at Caroline's on Broadway. I was a server there. It's a comedy club in Times Square. Heard of it? And I used to chill with Che, like, not like all the time, but like I had an apartment across the street, so people would like come by after shows or whatever. I watched WrestleMania 27 and 28 with Michael Che in my apartment, and then like cut to this years later. I'm like fat and drunk and balding, and he's
what was the deal with them being there? Was there a setup to that?
New York.
They just
like in New York. They like hosted.
We have to borrow New York people.
Not New Jersey people. Sorry.
Just over the, in the shadow.
Che and Joe's probably cost a lot less than Springsteen, so the only person from New Jersey ever. So yeah, that was
Kevin
just
Smith.
A weekend update thing. Oh, Kevin Smith would have been a good one.
That would be neat.
I don't think his heart could do it, but the whole heart.
Would he have been a better contender when he was fat?
Yes, it would have been more impressive.
I would have liked to have seen like Bluntman and Chronic show up or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
That would be dope. Yeah. Maybe do a spot, take a bump.
But I've watched WrestleManias with Michael Che, and he's on WrestleMania, and I was just like,
that's pretty cool.
I hate my life. No, it's not cool. I'm just sitting here with you,
trying to make you feel better.
Sorry,
sitting here with me. Yeah. Now we're doing a podcast that 6 people are going to listen to about it.
For everyone.
At least they trusted the right people because they had Hardys outside to catch them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's not like throwing someone to the Miz who's just never going to catch you.
He might. He might try to
get out of the way.
Help catch you.
How heavy are you?
So then WrestleMania starts, and we're singing and hollering, and Hulk Hogan comes out, and I'm like in my Hulk Hogan mode, and I'm having a great time. And then Paul Heyman comes out, walks out behind, and I go, oh no. And my buddy goes, I look over my buddy Nick, and he goes, if he's not on last, he ain't staying here all night. And I go, no. And then Paul Heyman gets on the mic. He goes, if we're not on last, we ain't sitting around here all night. And I go, oh, no. Because I don't know if you know this about me, but for the last 3 to 4 years, ever since he fought John Cena and gave the 30 suplexes, and that's what he's been doing ever since. Like, I call it Brock 3.0. He's like the 3.0 version of Brock. It's like his third run. So I get blackout drunk for Brock Lesnar matches. That's what I do.
That's your thing.
My thing. I get blackout drunk, and then if he jumps up on the apron, I jump up on something and break it. And if he doesn't, I just casually walk around. I don't break the thing. It's up to Brock.
I just jump on it.
Yeah. So like I was
it's up to Brock.
5 hours not drunk enough for this match. So I tried real quick to slam a couple shots, but it was not happening. I was not going to be in Brock form, but Brock jumps. I jumped. I destroyed a table when Brock jumped, and then.
See, I feel like I would have to be drunk to watch Brock too, because I don't like Brock.
Yeah,
the best, greatest of all time. So, so I was just severely way too sober for this.
It was a decent match, though.
It was a great match. I just really did not want him to win, and then when he did. Or I didn't want Seth Rollins to win. So when Brock, because I love Seth Rollins. I just didn't want Brock to be done. I just don't want Brock to be done. I don't care.
He's got to get his shit pushed in by Daniel Cormier.
I don't care if he I honestly hope he does, so he just comes back. And then DC comes too with him. He's like, come on, we're going to make some real money, kid.
Right.
So Brock lost the Universal Championship, and I really hope that later... Not hoped later, but I thought there was a chance later that Vince was going to screw Kofi and take Kofi out of the match and put Brock Lesnar in, because that's been the thing is Vince is screwing Kofi.
Yeah.
But like that was like a deep down inside like maybe he's gonna screw Kofi, which is such a terrible thing to say because
That
like
would-
so happy for Kofi, but like
That would have. I feel like many.
I'm just like
TVs would have
Claude.
been
It's
destroyed.
like it's my Patriots thing when they're down and they're like, all right, all we need is this, and this, and then everything's gonna be fine again, and I won't hate my life. And like the Patriots usually pull it off.
I was gonna say
So
the
does-
Patriots always do it.
But
So,
so does Brock Lesnar, but like this time he did not.
I mean,
I'm okay with that.
Brock made his money. His match was wait. Their match was 2 minutes long. Their match was 2.5 minutes
2.5
long.
minutes long. I mean, it felt a lot longer.
It did feel a lot
but it
longer.
was. I
than
mean, they
that.
had a fun. It was a good spot, but it was. The thing is, they had the Gaga outside for like 5 to 7 minutes. He like threw him through chairs.
Oh
and stuff,
yeah,
remember?
so the
Like,
match didn't
bell
start
ring.
Until they ring the bell.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I forgot about that.
That's right.
So yeah, that whole segment was probably like 15 minutes.
He won't even let the man get in the ring. He'll start beating him up before he gets to the ropes.
Which is great because I was like, here we go. He's going to destroy him. And I thought he was going to destroy him so hard that they were going to come back and make something for the final match, even though I knew it was the women. But like, again, this is me like scratching and clawing, like, don't let it be over. Don't let it be done.
I will say I'm not. Alex and I agree. We're not Brock Lesnar fans, but that third curb stomp, he took that like a champ.
Oh, he was a great.
I swear to God, like he smashed his head into that canvas.
The thing about Brock Lesnar is like people are like, oh, he doesn't do this and this, or he doesn't give enough. Like whatever, he's fine. He shows up when he shows up. He's a great box office draw. And the first thing Brock Lesnar does when he starts selling for somebody is turn deep purple. That's the first thing he does is make it look like he's been out there getting his ass kicked since you can't remember when. Brock Lesnar takes almost as good as an ass beating as he gives. He's a very giving man, I think, and like especially when he cares and when he wants to. And he you know, I'm sure he wasn't psyched the other night, but like last year he wanted to lose that belt to Roman. And they kept it on him, and there's like a video of him throwing it at Vince McMahon, like just like made the wrong choice. Like
I didn't know
shouldn't
that.
have been. Yeah, you should check that out. It's kind of
For some reason, I thought last year was Goldberg. Goldberg was 2
No,
years
it was
ago
2 years
already.
ago, yeah.
What the?
It's 2 years ago. Well, you're on a 2. You actually watched this WrestleMania. When I first met you, you were just watching. GIFs.
I was watching the gifs.
GIFs of WrestleMania. WrestleMania in 12. You might be back to that next year.
I mean, I'm getting old. I'm not a young, spry man, and to have a shift of WrestleMania matches. I mean, for the most, like, it's nice to, I was watching with friends, so it's still entertaining. We can sit there and ribbit. You just make fun of everything. And then when the big spots happen, it's like, oh shit, that was dope.
See, the thing is, I'm watching with professional wrestlers.
Right.
And, like,
Yeah.
we're doing the opposite of that. Like,
Critiquing.
They are, yeah, exactly. Or loving it. Like, no, they're not afraid to watch and have fun. You know what I mean? I'm just saying I'm watching with pretty big names here, guys. So, so they're like, we're into it a little more than that. There's ribbing, absolutely, because we're all like terrible people and shout out, horrific things. But we're all
This is like the one, like sometimes I'll catch the Rumble or SummerSlam, like the main four.
Yeah.
But aside from that, unless the Wrestling Gifts Twitter account is posting it, I'm not seeing it. Or if it's on Botchamania, then I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, you're not seeing that for like weeks later, and then it's in the corner of the thing while there's a
Unless you
picture
watch
of
it on
Joey
Dailymotion.
Ryan's dick on the other side. Look over here
Pretty
at Joey
much.
Ryan's dick when you don't want to look at the other part.
That's why I started going to its own website.
Was
Dailymotion.
it Venmo or Dailymotion? Dailymotion's
Well, like-
still a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
Wow,
Who knew?
dude.
Who knew?
Been cranking
So, like, I'll-
things
I'll-
on Dailymotion for like 20 years.
I don't get updates on YouTube anymore because I don't watch it on YouTube because it's the double screen bullshit. And so I'll just go to Botchamania when Jared tells me when a new one's up.
When I
And
go,
so,
hey man, you see the new Botchamania?
so then I go to the Botchamania.com, and from there it's like, here's your 3 options to view this episode.
The thing is, like, I don't watch any videos, like any trailers or anything. I don't watch them until I'm home and looking at them on my screen. Like,
Right.
I heard somebody watching that Joker trailer the other day, and
Yeah.
I was like, fuck you. I'm not watching this till it's on 65-inch screen and I can enjoy it and, like, watch it. Because I, like, react to those things. I would never put up a reaction video. Maybe only to wrestling. Like, I would love to see my natural reactions to wrestling. But oh, God, I find them so contrived, the reaction videos. And
They're
then
the worst.
they think that because people are finding it through their channel, that they can call the name of that video Joker trailer. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
if I search Joker trailer, the first 50 are just some
Reactions.
asshole in their basement going,
Whoa.
the Joker.
That's exactly what it is.
It's just them going, oh shit.
Wow,
And then
you guys, I can't wait to see this movie.
And then they cover their mouth. Oh my god!
And they're acting. They're like the wrestling fans. They're like wrestling fans ever since that one guy when the Undertaker lost his streak and they cut to him and he goes, that was a great visual for a podcast, but everybody knows what I'm talking about.
We know what you're talking about.
So,
and then we need 4-hour introspectives on every single thing that we saw in the Joker trailer.
Every 30 seconds.
Here's what you might have missed. Like, no, I didn't. I watched the trailer on 6. Maybe you missed it because you watched it on your cell phone while recording yourself. But I like was involved and took in the life.
Classically, the blue clown paint is meant to resemble this.
Oh, you did it.
Shut up.
You did it. So Lesnar lost the belt the first time in 3 years. That belt has been on someone else?
No, it's been back and forth, but it's been on him predominantly because the Roman did win it back, I think, at the end of, not in Saudi Arabia. He won it back at one of the pay-per-views. Could have been SummerSlam? No, I don't know. Actually, I can't remember. Roman Reigns won that back and then lost it back or gave it up for cancer.
Oh, yeah, he gave it. Yeah, he left it in the ring.
Oh, left it in the ring. That's
our
right.
Our friend Colin was actually at that show.
Legit can't remember how Brock Lesnar won that belt after Roman Reigns.
Did he just get it back?
You just give it to him?
I don't think so. They must have had a fight. I'm going to be on my way home and be like, oh, it was on this episode of... What is it on Raw? Because Brock Lesnar doesn't do things on Raw. But unless it was and I can't remember. I drink a lot during wrestling. AJ Styles and Randy Orton... had one of the matches of the night, if not the match of the night.
It was better than I expected between two people that I really don't give a shit about.
That's literally the only thing you cared about was Randy Orton.
I thought
2005.
We talk about this every time because that was
RKO fan.
That was Matt's first introduction to me. Was the fact that my MySpace profile picture was Randy Orton.
MySpace.
And we're Eskimo brothers.
Yeah.
Probably a couple times over.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
I thought
no one's wife listens
aside
to this.
from
especially even if your wife listened to this, she's definitely not listening to the fucking wrestling episode. Like we'll skip that one.
We're adults.
I thought you didn't mind AJ Styles aside from his finisher. His signature.
Well, there's also the whole flat Earth thing.
Oh yeah, that's stupid.
But
that kind of
I love
qualifies
that
him.
clip. I was watching the flat Earth thing, and I was like, I wonder if they're gonna play the AJ Styles clip. And like, not 3 minutes into it, they play the AJ Styles clip, and it's got They forgot the best part of it. It's Daniel Bryan go, why don't you tell everybody how you think the Earth is flat? And they just cut to AJ's face, and AJ goes, they cut out this part where AJ goes, I don't think it's flat. There's something there, man. Which is the best part about it.
It's like, I don't know. Like AJ, I can respect AJ Styles. Like I watched like an AJ Styles like highlight video a couple months ago, and I was like, yo, why doesn't he do this stuff anymore?
Yeah, because
like,
you have to.
Yeah.
Oh, also he's like 40 something now too.
Yeah, I think his facial hair also messes me up too. It's like, man, let's work on that.
I think he grew the facial hair instead of cutting his hair because he looked like he had an I want to talk to the manager, like soccer mom haircut. And then he grew the beard. So instead of getting rid of his haircut, he just grew a beard around it, which I don't know, sure. But I love AJ Styles and Randy Orton, and when Randy Orton cares, much like Brock Lesnar, you're gonna get something out of him.
Yeah, that was the big joke in the room while they were wrestling. It's like it seems like Randy Orton is actually kind of trying a little bit in this match.
It's amazing what 80,000 people in a WrestleMania payday.
He always looks bored to me.
Yeah. I mean,
he's been doing this like almost half his life now, though. Like
yeah.
He debuted in 2002, maybe 2003, and that's
17 years
ago.
And he still looks great. Like physique wise, like I mean, looking at my belly here, what can I say I've done in the last 17 years besides eat?
It's not your job.
369 podcasts.
That's true. I have done 360 nice. I messed it up. Anyways, so
60 nice.
We got some teaser finishes. You know, he juked him with the ropes. Oh, I'm gonna jump off the ropes, but you're gonna go for the RKO, but you're not gonna, because I'm gonna bamboozle you. that we've seen before. You know, teaser finishes are cool.
Yeah, he kicked out of an RKO, but Randy didn't kick out of the punch, I don't believe.
He pinned him with the phenomenal forearm.
Yeah, the phenomenal forearm.
Like, is Randy Orton too big for the Styles Clash? Do you think?
Is he too long?
You think he couldn't get him up?
Might be too massive. His like legs and arms are so long, and maybe he couldn't do the Styles Clash.
So we're gonna end it with the forearm.
Yeah. Or maybe Randy's like, I'm not doing that.
Like Randy did the DDT off the middle rope, which that's like one of his old school things, right?
Vintage Orton. In
what
the
I call it.
shadows of New York City.
In the shadows of New York City, we got to
Thanks,
see
my
that,
people.
and then he got down and he just beat the shit out of the thing for a little while. You know when he does that thing?
Watch out! Watch out!
Yeah. So there was nothing really on the line for that one. It was just kind of two,
Respect.
yeah, two old goats going at it.
2 old goats.
Tag team stuff happened.
Yeah, the Usos won that. I mean, I had fun during that match. I probably had a great time during that.
Ricochet
Shut up.
was that Ricochet's like debut? Like
At WrestleMania, yeah, but
Yeah.
he got called up from NXT a couple months ago when Triple H and them were like, we've lost our way and we're giving the company back to you, the fans. So the Usos won it, but then last night on SmackDown
They
they
dropped it.
lost it
Yeah.
to the Hardy Boys,
who weren't
young-
even in that
the
match.
young upstarts, Matt and Jeff Hardy.
I thought Matt was gonna retire. Was that not a thing?
I don't know. Maybe he's not. Did he look? Did he have white? Did anybody see? Did you see a GIF of it? Jr. Was there? Did he have white hair in the GIF?
I
Or
didn't. I
did
didn't
he-
notice if he had white hair or not.
Oh, so I don't know. Maybe he's back to just being
Oh, he's not broken anymore.
before version 1 Matt Hardy. Yeah, it might be fixed.
Fix it, working.
Fixed.
Working.
He is assembled
Uh,
Matt Hardy.
So did they bring in Ricochet without Osprey? Because the thing is, like
was
these,
Ospreay? Did they? I don't
these-
know if they did sign him for because they signed Ricochet for 205 Live or NXT.
because I didn't know he was in NXT yet. Because
I didn't. Also, I can't believe they let him keep his name too.
Yeah, that's true. Hadn't thought of that. Because he's the shit that he does. He's been doing for a long time.
It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. And there's like
The gifts I've seen, man.
This guy wrestles some of the best gifts.
but some of the let me think. I think I heard maybe Jim Cornette doesn't like him because they just call him spot fests.
I think a lot of people
It's like-
assume Jim Cornette doesn't like things, so they're like they just tag Jim Cornette and they're just like get a load of this, or like Kevin Owens won a championship. They're like, I bet Jim Cornette wants to kill himself, and I was like, I'm sure Jim Cornette does not want to kill himself.
because of KO.
You see tatted up Kevin Owens? Did I
Yeah.
see that
Oh,
correctly
yeah,
in
he
the
was
GIF
on
I
a-
saw?
It was a great gift.
I'm not even joking. I saw a GIF of Kevin Owens
No,
like
did he
walking
have
up
more-
the
did
ramp,
he have more
and I was
tattoos?
like, is he all tatted up now?
Oh, good for him.
Is it
Well,
like
he was
Hawkeye?
off. Like if you have, he's got a family, but just say you're a wrestler with disposable income and a lot of time on your hands, like probably gonna get some tattoos. Look at Randy Orton's arms.
Right. Yeah. But so Ricochet's been doing indie stuff for a long time and just doing crazy shit. And one of the problems is some wrestling purists go, he's not putting together a match. There's no story. He's just doing a lot of flippy shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, it looks cool, but aside from looking cool, like nothing's actually happening.
When that first match, that Osprey Ricochet, that first one came out,
Yeah.
that was the one where that was basically my introduction to him.
Okay.
And it was through wrestlers, and I saw it. I saw some wrestlers be like, look at this. And then, like, my buddy, Sexy Jesus, he's like, me and his girlfriend's daughter at the time, he was like, me and her just watched this, and she thought it looked like ballet. She, like, her takeaway was,
Right.
like, it was
Yeah.
not wrestling. It
Yeah.
was some sort of choreographed dance, which, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Whatever's got more eyes on wrestling. I'm not really, especially as a ring announcer, and not to be political or anything, I don't ever really like to critique anyone's style
Okay,
or
that's
anything
fair.
like that. Like, as far as, like, if you get in the ring and do it, God bless. And if people pop for it, even better. And if
Yeah.
people boo it, or if, like, as long as you don't bring a show to a screeching halt with whatever you've just done, I'm pretty okay with it.
What's the deal with? I want to talk about Nakamura. 'Cause
He is.
the way he is. Yes.
Okay.
The way that this man, because I didn't know who he was until a couple years ago when it was like, oh, I love this guy. He's like, they finally brought him in. Like, in the videos I've seen on YouTube, refer to this man as like a living legend, especially like from New Japan and all that stuff. And I feel like all the times that I've seen him wrestle in WWE, it's like he's just kind of like, oh, there he is. He's over there.
Uh-huh.
Do the
I'll
we'll
give you
throw
that.
you into this tag match with Rusev.
I think he's one of the guys that maybe should have stayed in NXT, even though he didn't need it.
Right.
But it's like he was already groomed, so why are they going to waste him there? Like
Mhm.
for storyline,
He doesn't
and
need
things
development.
like that. He probably could have been there. If anyone ever asked me to explain Shinsuke Nakamura to anyone, I say he's Japanese Mick Jagger, and then like it just makes sense to
Yeah.
people. Like he's just Japanese wrestling Mick Jagger, and like all the faces and all that stuff. Like now it makes sense. I think he's bored.
Right.
I think he's a gentleman that's bored and probably like, when am I going to make that payday at the Tokyo Dome
At AEW.
or AEW? Yeah.
It was explained to me as kind of like Vince has A to D a bit. And so he sees like shiny new thing, goes, I want that. Make that the... No, I want this instead. I want make this the thing.
Well, I hope there. Yeah. I mean, I don't think... Obviously, you're exaggerating. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think... But yeah, I can see it. I could see him thinking like this is the guy, and then the fans. The thing is, the fans are like ready to support. They could put 2 more shows on the air, and I think the fans would watch it. They could put a women's show on the air, and I think the fans would watch it. They could put a whole nother, like, just call it grudge matches or mix up or something, or it's like, I haven't seen Shinsuke fight Ethan Carter III. It's over on Saturday night. For no reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Drew McIntyre.
Remember when you held his belt?
EC3.
EC3
Dude, that
belt.
picture just came up the other day. I wanted to share it. I look terrible. I've got a beard before I realized you could blow dry a beard, so it didn't look like that. Like my beard and like the humidity, my beard is just massive, and like my hair is like whatever gel I had in my hair to make it go up. It was also where I was like shaving everything but the mohawk, so it's like just a mohawk. I just look like a fat, weird piece of shit in that picture. But the picture of Behold his belt's great. That was a great night. He's a cool Ethan Carter. That's probably one of my favorite experiences with like a wrestling name.
Is he still NXT? Have they brought him up yet?
No, he's up. He's up. He what did he do on Mania? He did something.
He
on
was
Mania.
in
the Battle Royal.
The Battle Royale. Yeah.
But he because I went to see them at the Mullen Center, and he was on the card, so I assume he was traveling with the Raw brand. I'm pretty sure he's up. But like, no, that was one of the drinking with him in Enfield that night was one of the best. And Chicago Sam's like, you got to go, and he's like, we need some more shots, and I was like, well, it's 2:15, so I don't think that's happening, but give it a shot.
They put on a good
Carter
match too. That was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Usos retained. Much fun was had, I guess. And
Not
then
as much fun as this next match.
Ah.
'Cause here comes the money, the best in the world.
Before you got here, I had said to Jay, I was like, is there a point when Shane should just stop and let actual wrestlers wrestle?
What, be the best in the world? Look, come get it. If you think you can knock off the best in the world, but Miz is pretty good and he couldn't do it, so.
Well, I don't think the Miz had much of a choice at the end of the match there.
Couldn't do it.
Do you know the end of the match, Alex?
Yeah,
Okay.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
How great is Mrs. Dad in the video? I wanted to make one.
The memes are pretty great.
The memes are great. I
Yeah.
wanted to make one that was like when they tell you Brooks and Dunn don't rock like they used to. Just have that, but I haven't done it yet. Now it's probably 2 days too late.
Do we know if that's real dad or is that just like some stage hand? That
No, that's his dad. That's his dad. Look
The
at
Miz
that, dude.
kissed him
That's
on the
the
head.
Most, that's the most Cleveland thing I've ever seen in my life. That's the like how horrific.
Besides Odell Beckham.
Like Miz. Like there's always that weird moment where you introduce your parents to whoever you're dating or whatever, but like Miz shows up with this just like gorgeous statuesque French like speaking bride. He's like, here's my dad, Larry the Cable Guy from fucking Cleveland. Like they're related now. Like the same genes are gonna like have produced offspring as his dad's hair and this like just gorgeous French person.
The thing that I think was the toughest part for me with that match, besides a very red Shane McMahon, he was working hard.
You're the best in the world.
When you're the best,
to
yeah.
live up to.
Here comes the money. Was the Miz? I've never seen Miz wrestle his face. I've only ever seen him as hardcore heel, just working the crowd. I mean, he's good at it.
I've
you know,
loved Miz for so long, really since his main event run. I really like it, and I'm glad he's face because, Shane McMahon got to be heel. Heel Shade is the best. A heel McMahon is really what you want your McMahons doing.
It's in
Anytime
their
a
genes.
McMahon's out there like smiling, it better be leading to some lie. And thank God it always is.
Have we
So-
ever had a face McMahon?
Yeah, they've all been face at certain points. You know what I mean? Like every one of them has been
I can't
face
think
and
of one.
heels.
Aside from like before.
No,
Stephanie married
Vince is like
Trish.
a good guy. Like Vince is a good guy when they're facing the Alliance in 2001, because then Shane and Stephanie are the bad guys. But Vince has also been the one to like drug his wife.
Oh God!
She kicks him in the balls, and then like Stephanie's been like babyface girl, and then they've definitely all done certain things.
I feel like it's been so long since that, though. I don't
No,
know.
like I mean, Linda's in Trump's cabinet, or was. I mean, that's what more face thing could you do than that? Than be the small business leader for Donald Trump.
She knows nothing about small businesses.
Yeah.
She grew her small business
That
to
is-
a world
That
conglomerate.
is not a small business.
It was. They didn't just hit the ground running in 96 countries.
A lot of defensive Linda McMahon going on right now.
And another thing.
So it had a cool spot. It was a false count anywhere match. They had a cool spot at the end
Oh, that's great.
doing the was it suplex off the
suplex. You never. Well, he goes. Everyone's like, he's gonna throw him off. And then he hooks him for a suplex. I was like, that means they're both going. And they're like, Miz isn't going. And then Miz went too. It was so great. They landed on the boxes.
which is a big deal because Miz doesn't do high risk stuff like that, from what I understand.
I just don't think he's ever been given an opportunity to. I think Miz could work hardcore or things like that.
Well, that was the thing. Like when he yelled at Daniel Bryan that one time,
Yeah.
like you do all the irresponsible
He's like,
stuff.
I work safe so I could keep working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that promo.
That was it's hard to watch, which I guess makes it good.
I love it so much.
You know, it's
Mhm.
real. It's
Miz
real.
is so good. Miz is so good.
Have they done a thing yet since then?
Yeah, they did. Shortly after he came back, they like had their
Hmm.
a couple back and forths. Nothing really big because they threw Daniel Bryan in with Big Kaz. They're trying to make like Big Kaz the super face,
Right.
who's now just gone.
Yeah.
He's gone from the company, right?
Yeah, him and Enzo are both. They actually hopped the guardrail the other night on the Madison Square Garden show. That New Japan or Ring of Honor, whatever, was in Madison Square Garden.
So he's
Really?
just that's his thing now. He just crashes.
Yeah, but
shows.
like I don't know. It looked real, but it could be fake, or it looked fake, but it could be real. Like it was just one of those things where like they were there too long.
yeah,
Not like the guy, and like simultaneously to that, like almost at the same time is where the kid bum rushes Bret Hart at the Hall of Fame
Ugh.
in Brooklyn, and I loved the setup of that. I loved the wrestling ring in the middle because that meant they didn't have to change it out and put a stage in.
Right.
So when they put the wrestling ring in on Friday night
Mm-hmm.
or Thursday night for whatever, then Friday night they did NXT, Saturday night they did the Hall of Fame, Sunday they were at Mania, but then they were back for Monday and Tuesday in that same building, and they never had to move the ring, which must have been so great for their ring crew and like
Yep.
the entire production staff. So
You can
I
tell
love-
you've built a ring before
yeah,
when you really respect the fact that
that it takes time. It's like, oh, I love when we don't have to move a ring. One time they were like, leave the ring here, and we were like, oh my god, we like never picked our ring back up for like 6 months. Shouldn't have done that, assholes. So I hope the Hall of Fame goes back to a black tie sort of invite only thing, but I really liked the way the ring looked the other night. And it's like there's silence in the room because old men are talking or
Mhm.
women are talking or like whatever. Superstars or old retiree legends are talking or the people inducting them. And because it's silent, every person in there tries to take that opportunity to yell out their one thing to pop the other 14,000 people in attendance.
Yeah.
So you've got 17,000 amateur comedians
Right.
trying to say something when it's silent or just like shouting out inappropriate things. And
Mhm.
like, it was cool for the DX stuff at the end because they know how to roll with it. But
Yeah.
like, why are you shouting out shit at Honky Tonk Man? He's just a dude from Memphis who's trying to like give his speech after being in wrestling for 40 something years.
Mm-hmm.
So
I get that.
there
Especially like,
needs to be a healthy medium. Like just like get a symphony hall, like go to some place that fits 2,500 people or something like that, and just have an invite only
Mhm.
or like influencers or literally say it's a black tie affair and you're not showing up in your t-shirt, and like that'll get out the rabble rousers. They'll have to like anybody that can own a tux might as well they should know how to STFU during somebody's Hall of Fame speech. There's a way to do it. There's a happy medium with the Hall of Fame that I hope they find.
Mm-hmm.
the,
I would hate that.
what?
It's like just know your place.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
where
like
are you?
it's like a couple weeks ago at Ack Inc.
Yeah.
So we were at PAX a couple weeks ago, and there's a show that they do called Acquisitions Incorporated. It's live D&D, which actually Xavier Woods
Right.
was one of the players, which is pretty cool. I got to see Xavier Woods play D&D with a bunch of people that I really like. And it gets to the point where like the crowd starts yelling stuff. And it's like, hey, shut up. I'm here to watch them play. I'm not here to listen to your ideas.
Mhm.
Like, if start your own D&D show, and then I'll watch you if you're
and then,
interesting.
put a microphone up to your face, and then
Yep.
just everyone's looking for their spot, and they want to be the one that like, oh, smart fan yelled this out and get their 5,000 upvotes on Reddit, and like that's
Did you hear that guy? They laughed at my thing that I
that's
yelled
their
out.
heroin, dude. Like that's what people are addicted to.
What are they
making
gonna
it
get
about
from
them.
Yep.
that?
I don't know. I had something upvote. I saw it hit like 6,000 things on Reddit the other day, and they were like, this, and this. You get this, and this, and they're like, you get access to this and 100 gold coins, and this is a silver rating. And I was like, I don't care about any of this.
Internet
Just
points.
Get away from me.
Yep.
I don't care about clout. I make money talking to a microphone.
They should
Not
send
these
someone out
microphones.
into the
Not
crowd
these.
to just
This is-
slap the shit out of them. It's
Right.
like, oh, you yelled a thing. Like,
That's a slap.
that's what we should use Roman Reigns for.
We were at Floyd Fest.
Just
which
send
is
him
like-
out to just go spirit the kid in the audience.
I was at like a folk music festival in Virginia one time, and like I don't have all the names for the story, but there's like this old black blues guy is like he's like some of my acquaintances like Muddy Waters or somebody else will shout something else out, and they're like Ronnie Millsap. He's like, yeah, Ronnie Millsap, and some guy subbed out, and he goes, he's like, I don't know, Carl Perkins, and the guy goes, why don't you shut the fuck up and maybe you'll learn something? It's like, exactly. Like, dude, that's the guy on stage. It
Yeah.
happens at my trivia nights to a lesser degree.
Mhm.
I'm like playing like Looney Tune trivia, and I'm like, this guy, this rooster right here is 6 feet tall and whatever. What's his name? And they'll be like, Pablo Escobar. And I'm like, everybody like, oh, great. Fuck, you did it. Great, dude. You're a terrible person. I'm going to unclip this microphone and bury it in the center of your skull. Delete this episode if you ever hear of me unclipping a microphone and burying it in somebody's
Will
skull.
do. Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
So the Iconics, yeah.
The Iconics,
God,
yeah.
They're so fun. There's so much. They're so fun and so great.
I've seen a couple of their promos, not in GIF form, in actual like short video form.
They're really quick. They're smart and funny, and like I really like a quick like sense of humor, and like you can't beat them. They always have a comeback.
And they came up together, from what I understand. Like
Came
they're
with
like
the
childhood
NXT
best
together.
friends or
I don't
something
know
like
if that's
that.
true. I think because one's like, are they both Australian? I think only one's Australian.
no idea.
I don't really know. Sorry. But
Do we think those are lines that are written for them, or are they just like?
no, because I've seen like backstage segments where like the girl there, Charlie, will say something, and then like just their reactions are priceless. They're really good, and like Sasha and Bailey keeping the championships would have been fine. They should
thought they were gonna.
They should just make two women's championships. Like that's probably what they're gonna do. Like Sasha and Bailey will just fight for.
I was wearing my Bailey shirt and everything. I have a Bailey shirt, by the way.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I'm a hugger one.
It says, I'm in the hugging business, and on the back it says, "In business is good." The ironic part is that I hate hugging. I hate it so much.
And business.
But but it's good. I think it was a decent match. Beth Phoenix nailed her whatever it is off the top rope.
Yeah, no,
Um,
and Nat and Natalia look good.
She got the double sharpshooter at one point, which was too dope, and she got to walk down with Brett.
Bum, bum, bam, bam, and nobody tackled him, so that's a nice.
It's true.
like,
Nobody
that
tackled him,
good.
and he was wearing the jacket. But
Was that a thing that went on too long? Is that what I heard?
What? That match?
No, when the guy went after Brett.
No, I don't know how they would have bounced back. They got a wrench thrown in it. Like it definitely. They started showing the crowd, which is so crazy because when they showed the crowd and the crowd reacting, it reminded me of watching when Owen died. How like the cameras were just on the crowd.
Oh yeah.
So like it was kind of a weird moment, and then like they cut to Natalia and she's crying. They're in the corner and they're like actually showing it because they don't know what else to show. And like Vince's whole thing is if it happens live, it's not a mistake. So like they must have.
Because some I saw was like that took way too long and should
get
have
him
been
out of
handled
there?
much faster.
I think it could have. There were no cops or anything. Me and my brother had this argument. I was like, "Where were the cops?" I was like, "I hopped a turnstile in New York City once, and before I hit the ground, I had a $200 fine from an undercover cop. Like, where were the police officers?" And my brother's like, "Where's WWE security?" And I'm like, "True, but like, where there? It's like 45 seconds before a uniformed NYPD officer."
Travis Brown threw like 18 punches before anyone official was actually in the ring.
So I think it did take a little. I think it took kind of a long time to get him out of there, but That's just kind of a shitty situation, which is gonna. Hopefully, the silver lining is like they do what I've wanted, is to like get the marks out of there, get the people that want to shout shit out of there. There was a couple years there where they had it low, the first couple ones, and people were shouting it out, and like it did kind of mess with the wrestlers. And I don't know, they want to sell tickets and make it a big thing, but like you don't need to sell 17,000 tickets at the expense of a nice evening honoring people who deserve it.
Right.
So that's kind of my feelings on that. The big match is up next, huh? Kofi and Daniel Bryan was great.
Daniel Bryan as a heel.
Just such a fun moment.
I didn't even know.
Oh, yeah. And he's great. The greatest heel.
He was real good. Because unfortunately, I'm in that camp of, I don't really know much about Daniel Bryan aside from the fact that he almost died a couple years ago and now he's wrestling again.
Yeah.
And everyone loves him. And I just go, he's a guy with the beard. And he's like my height.
He's the American Dragon.
And like everyone I'm watching was like, God, Daniel Bryan's the greatest of all time. He's going to go down as the greatest wrestler ever. And I'm like, why?
You've never seen the American Dragon.
I have not.
Yeah.
I have not seen the American Dragon. But I like Daniel Bryan as a heel. You know, and there was at one point someone I was watching it with, I was like, you know, does he still do like the yes thing? And someone said, oh, he wouldn't dare.
Does he ever?
He wouldn't dare do the yes thing right now, like today.
Oh.
And then lo and behold, he breaks out the yes and like the crowd's chanting no instead.
No, he's like a Green Party like activist and like
he had a vegan belt.
And have you seen that title made out of hemp? And, not 100%
leather
cowhide. Oh, that's great.
I thought it was neat. Kofi, which I've only known him for being in the New Day. Apparently, he is a journeyman.
Oh yeah. I think he was in like 04 or 5 is his first. Like he's like 05, I think, is his first. He's been there a long time. He's been there almost 15 years, and like won a lot of IC titles. And like this push could have came at any time. It's just he happened to wrestle a really long gauntlet match and then lose at the end, and like I think the crowd really popped for it, and then that's when WWE kind of noticed like that we could do this, and it's just kind of like, and it's a nice mirror to Daniel Bryan's out of nowhere run from WrestleMania 30 from 2014, where like, and now Daniel Bryan has become the Triple H, and
right.
Kofi Kingston is the Daniel Bryan, saying like, you know, being a B+ player, and it's literally the same angle, like run oppositely, but Daniel Bryan's the aggressor now.
I would really like that if we had a new Triple H.
Oh man, shots fired. But I thought it was a good match. I thought, Big E and Xavier Woods it genuinely looked like they were ecstatic for their friend, which was really neat.
Yeah, everyone was. There was so much joy in the room that I was in, from like wrestlers and fans and family and stuff, that I just had like my little eclectic group of 45 people watching WrestleMania with me at this.
A lot of people were saying that they were expecting Big E to turn heel, and they thought they were glad because it would have been total
everything
disrespect.
Would have been gross. If it went down any other way, besides Brock Lesnar coming out and murdering both of them, if it went down any other way, it would have been gross. Like that was the right move.
They're showing the wrestlers backstage like rooting on Kofi. He has to.
Would they risk breaking up the New Day?
I hope not. I hope they don't do anything silly.
Yeah,
I really don't, because it'll just come off so disgenuine, because they were his biggest champions. Like they were his biggest supporters. Like honestly, Xavier Woods and Big E were the ones cutting the Kofi promos, while Kofi just sat there and was like stoic and like. So like. It would be curveball, be WCW curveball for the sake of a curveball.
Right.
Unless they, they take it out. Now, 5 months from now, 6 months from now, perfectly acceptable. Like, draw it out to SummerSlam or something and be like, you changed, man, when, like, he hasn't changed. Or Kofi does change. Now it's him and Daniel Bryan.
That means Kofi would have to be the new Batista.
We could use a new
silence. I thought it was a good match. I kind of expected Kofi to take it. It was one of those like, Kofi has to. They have to. They absolutely have to. They have to give it to him. My favorite part was like looking over at one point and like Big E's like chanting, and he's just like surrounded by pancakes. It's like, where he didn't have those.
Those weren't there. That happened at the Hall of Fame too. They were like just cheering, and then I looked over and they all had plates of pancakes in front of them.
And of course a trombone. From what I understand, Xavier Woods can legitimately play that trombone.
Yeah, he does. I've never heard him play anything good on it, but like
I just hear him blare it.
But I don't doubt it. He's like a doctor and other things too.
Our friend Ryan said he's heard Xavier play one of the Final Fantasy tunes on it during an entry.
I bet. Do you guys watch his Up Up Down Down? Do you watch any of that? This video game?
A friend of mine does. They did a thing at PAX a couple weeks ago too.
Okay.
Tyler Breeze and Xavier Woods were both there. A friend of mine, he's a big Tyler Breeze fan. So when Tyler Breeze was like the second guy out of the Under
Rumble.
the Giant Memorial Rumble, he was
Bummed.
a little disappointed. Tyler Breeze with the funniest Twitter handle. It's just, is it gorgeous? Isn't that what it is?
Gorgeous.
I think that's what it is.
So we were so like blown up from that match that I was outside where I was smoking like outside, like having a beer outside, and completely missed the Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio.
Well, I mean,
match.
if you blinked, you would miss.
I
the
saw,
Samoa
but like
Joe.
I didn't see like the entrances or anything.
It
I was like outside and came back in and like heard it and was like, oh, whoops! I kind of just drank and smoked my way through a whole match there, but it wasn't very long. So now Rey Mysterio has been on the winning end of one of the shortest matches in WrestleMania history, and on the losing end of one of the shortest matches in WrestleMania. Both championship matches, both for the U.S. title. Also,
from what I
He won it
understand,
off JBL.
Mysterio was hurt.
Oh well, that'll do it.
I guess he had an ankle injury or something. So I think because like everyone was like, "Wow, they just jobbed Ray pretty hard." What was the deal with that?
Oh wait, yeah, he does. Yeah, he hurt himself on Raw.
And then everyone said like, "Well, he's hurt, so he can't really do much." Because
I mean-
literally, the match starts. He smacks around Samoa Joe for 5 seconds, hits him with the 619. Oh, it's over. Like Joe locks in a clutch, his whatever thing,
Yeah,
because he's the Samoan submission machine.
Clutch, sure.
And then it's over. Also, when did they transition from 3-arm drops to 1? You know, when the guy, oh god, he's unconscious, better lift up his arm.
Oh,
and
yeah.
drop
You know
it.
what? That must have been. So I missed that, and I actually haven't seen it since. So it must have just been he's out. They do that now. If he's just out, they just like check it. If he's like legit out already, they
Right.
just, but if there's like a little life in him, or if the story calls for it,
If the story
it calls for a 3 drop.
The whatever's convenient game. Yeah.
But yeah, I forget who started doing that. Was it? It might have been Joe when he came in a couple years ago. They just kind of switched it to he's out.
Because he's so vicious.
He's so Samoa and so
He's
Joe.
so Samoan.
Speaking of Samoan Joes, Roman Reigns is up next with Drew McIntyre.
With a guy I've never heard of.
You ever heard of Drew McIntyre? He's been
No.
around a long time.
No.
He wasn't Hero the whole time, but he was in WWE like, I don't know, 10 years ago. He was like the new big thing, the next big thing. And then he left for a couple of years to like do TNA and the Indies and things like that. And I think he was wrestled back in the UK or Scotland.
Roman Reigns making his grand return since beating cancer.
I was debating
I'm
on like
gonna
making
admit
a
I
3
didn't.
count joke or something.
I didn't.
Did he get the pin on cancer? I
He
guess?
did.
I didn't
beat
really
it hard,
watch.
Beat it clean.
I was on my phone most of this match. I'm not gonna lie.
It wasn't a very long match. I like Roman. I don't know why he was rushed back to do not like mid-card match, even though it was like the 10th match or 12th
match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, but it's still a mid-card match. That Takeover was so good the night before, and it was just, or the 2 nights before, and they did it so well. It was 5 matches that everyone was there to see. It took 2.5 hours. It's perfect. I just like, I know WrestleMania. Everybody
It's
wants
a half
to
hour
get,
per match.
yeah, pretty much.
at
Yeah, they
least.
gave everybody the time. I know WrestleMania wants to get everyone a payday and make it the biggest extravaganza, but fucking come on, man! Like I can't. It got over at 12:30. I can't drink that long. I can, but I did, but we like stumbled out of there. Triple H and Batista, no holds barred. Triple H spot of the night rips out Dave Bautista's nose ring with a pair of needle nose pliers. Needle nose pliers.
I mean, really, you could do that with any pliers, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just you got to get a good grip on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had used different pliers. He used like different vice grips earlier on his fingers, and then went back to the toolbox.
He used like a wrench on his fingers.
Yeah.
And then he went back to the toolbox. He used the chain on him, chained him up for a little. I mean, Batista.
Is there a name for that?
The chain? Hit him with the chain?
No, like when he like had him like around the mouth or whatever, right?
Yeah, it was like
I feel like there's a term for that.
When like a bit.
Like a saddling?
Chomping at the bit, like a horse with a bit
it.
in its mouth. Anyways, Batista did the machine gun entrance. I think it was mostly...
Oh, that was a great entrance.
Mostly just hyping up his new movie with Kumail Nanjiani, who was in the crowd wearing a giant Batista face shirt, like a shirt with Batista's face on it.
So there was no confusion over who he wanted to win.
Yep.
I did like his entrance. Almost the entrance of the night. Triple H's entrance was great. I lost a prop bet. Would Stephanie be a part of his entrance? I said yes, and she wasn't. But
she should have been driving the car.
But like,
not some guy in like a polo with a little bit of face makeup.
I hated the actual animation of that Mad Max thing.
Yeah.
Like they should have just filmed something. Just film something. Like it was like it was in a like technique or whatever that didn't match what they were going for. Like it was like a real cartoon, like trying to look. It was like I hated the animation behind him. That could have they should have literally just stole Mad Max footage and be like, our bad. They should have just stole it. If that's what they're going for, they should just either got the rights for a minute to film like some long shot in that same, or just go to that desert and film it. You're WWE.
Right.
Just go film it. Like it must have been so much more expensive to animate, draw, and
they were just in a desert a few months ago. So.
That's true. Let's go.
It's while you were there.
You were there.
Film it. Get ahead of time.
This is where I tapped out, unfortunately, because it was getting toward the end of the night.
I wish I knew what time it was at this point. Like,
at this point, it was around. It was like
notes,
almost 11:30, I think. But like, it was getting. A couple people were like, "Oh, I'm gonna start heading home," and I was like, "Are you sure?" And there's only a couple matches left. We got two matches left, man. We're gold. And then a friend of mine checked the thing, and oh no, dude, we got Kurt.
Yeah.
No, we forgot about
Kurt. Wow.
And at that point, it was like, oh well. All right, good night. I'm going to bed.
I think if I went to WrestleMania, I would have left after the Kurt match, maybe, and just been like, dude, I could have been home watching the Becky Lynch or in the cab on the way home watching the match. But, like, that's in retrospect. I guess we'll get there, but I thought that match, like, the finish was just a little wonky. Did anybody go back and see it?
The women? Or?
Yeah, the women. Yeah. Her shoulders come off the ground in the middle of that 2 count. And I don't know if they're going to make a bit about it because Ronda broke her hand, so she wasn't on Raw. So I don't really know if they're like if they're going to make an angle about it. Finn Balor match. And we skipped Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle lost. That's what you do.
It's his farewell match.
That's what you do when you say goodbye. You lose.
Was that Baron?
Yeah, Baron Corbin.
I'm glad he
Baron
shaved his
Corbin.
head. Because he did not look good with hair.
Yeah, his hair was getting thin, but I don't know about his like high welcome to Chili's vest that he wears before he comes out. But I really like Baron Corbin, and he was a great general manager.
I feel like the last thing we needed was another long, wet hair guy.
Well, good. He cut it off.
Oh, yeah.
Finn Balor.
My man Finn Balor. I'm a big fan of Finn Balor.
I got to send you my entrance of me dancing on the bar.
Did you do the things?
I crawl around. Yeah, the lights. There's light cues and everything. You're going to love it. I did it SummerSlam too, and I'm crawling on the floor, on the ground outside because I had a projector in my backyard for SummerSlam. Doing the Finn Balor thing, and I was like doing the crawl on the floor. And my friend Bacon, Big Bacon Brad Hollister, goes, "You're so gross." Because you're the grossest human being I've ever met. I'm just like being a snake on the ground, doing my demon Finn Balor thing. WrestleMania is too fucking long, dude. Like, what are we, like an hour into this?
We're coming up on an hour.
And like all we did was like go over 16 matches, you know what I mean?
We didn't even go over all, like we skimmed over a bunch of them.
I really tried to skip through because like just talking about it, I'm like, oh man, nobody's gonna listen to this. Like, this is too long. I think we've made it entertaining, but like we didn't go into any depth about any one match, and we did some offshoots and other things. But it's like
leading up to it, JR hated that Charlotte was just shoved into that match.
I don't mind that she was in it, but like I thought it was weird how they put the belt on her at the end.
Yeah, like
to make it for the belts
let's
too.
fuck over. Excuse me. Wow, that just. I'm a bit. I like Asuka a lot. She's probably my favorite wrestler.
How many times have you sworn in 369 episodes?
Me a lot.
Oh, okay.
Alex can count on one hand, I believe.
I think I'm up to 18. 18
18 Fs?
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 6.
18 Fs?
Oh no, like yeah. the last 3 I've been really quiet, so you might not catch those.
Yep. But
I count them.
Asuka is like my favorite wrestler, like no joke. So like to see like, oh, we're just gonna dick her out of the belt a week before WrestleMania, just slap it on Charlotte. So then the stakes are even higher for the women's event. You know,
I really thought Ronda was going to win too, because I thought that the newspapers, there's no way that all the press the next day was not Ronda Rousey wins in the first ever all women's. But it's good they made Becky.
I figured they were gonna, because like I've been hearing all the rumors of Ronda being done, like she's gonna leave the company and focus
she signed
on
it to your contract. She has another year. She has a whole other year left on this thing.
I mean, does she
like she
have
could
to?
do it like she could do the Brock thing and show it 4 more times, but like there must be some minimum on dates. I know last year she signed a 2-year contract,
right?
Which doesn't bring us to next WrestleMania because she didn't debut after WrestleMania. She debuted at the Rumble, so it should bring us to at least Rumble, unless there was like a hey, you have to do Tree WrestleManias,
Right?
Because she did 2 now, so she might have to do the 1 more.
But I was happy to see Becky win. You know, it was cool. Like Charlotte got her grand entrance. She came in on a chopper that was filmed hours beforehand or something.
Ago,
and then Ronda had what's her face? Who's
Joan Jett.
Joan Jett sing "Bad Reputation" because that's her intro.
Yeah.
And then Becky just comes out to her own music. You know, so like
with
it's like
80,000 people going, whoa!
It's like that underdog kind of thing. You know, you got it's like the Rocky and Clubber Lang. You know, Rocky's all grand and shit, and then Clubber Lang just comes in and fucks everyone up.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like a play on the first one where Rocky just comes in and fucks everyone up, but
Right.
Apollo Creed's like, we need the funk, living in America.
But Becky Lynch now doing that Conor McGregor rocking 2 straps.
2-belt Becky, yeah.
Only she might actually defend him. Who knows?
I hope that she defends them separately. Like, I hope this isn't just I hope she defends them separately and goes on a little run here, and then I hope she becomes mad with power, and next year is like, it's got to be, you know, one of these up-and-coming girls, or Kairi Sane, the Asian pirate,
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Because they're in Tampa Bay next year, and like there's a pirate ship in that. It's like a pirate themed.
It writes
WrestleMania.
itself.
It's a pirate themed WrestleMania, and they have a pirate, and Pirate Paul Burchill is just like, fuck, 15 years too early.
Did you ever see Ultimo Dragon back in the Monday Night Wars?
The Dragon Sleeper?
And he would come out with like 8 belts on his arms and shit.
I don't remember that. But now I want to see Becky Lynch with every belt.
Well, she does. She's got them all. That's it.
She has 2 of them.
Well, she could have the tag belts, I guess.
I feel like she could win heavyweight. She could do it.
Men.
She's the man.
That's the only thing left for women, though, is like to win the WWE Championship. Like, and I don't think we're too far from seeing it.
Has anyone ever done that?
No, I don't think anyone's ever compete. China had the Intercontinental. Champion,
China won IC,
and I think Beth Phoenix also had an IC belt. Maybe she was definitely in a Rumble. I thought that she had some gold, but maybe not. So I'd like to see it, just to like check it off, and then we can get back to dudes main event in WrestleMania again. Oh, shit.
I mean, are the dudes even that much better than because I find myself I'm more invested in the women's matches.
Every time there's been a women's thing, and I've been like, wow, they're really doing that. Like the Women's Royal Rumble on last, and the Women's Royal Rumble was so good.
It was great.
Both years was so good. But especially the year that it main evented, which was 2 years ago, I think.
Something like that. I can't remember. But, yeah. Ronda apparently broke her hand.
Broke her hand on Becky's face.
I heard rumors the ending was supposed to be Becky Lynch was going to tap Charlotte. But then it got botched or something. And then Ronda's
really
shoulders came up.
Botched. I just don't... Like, if the ref looked at it and he's like, yeah, Ronda didn't kick out. Like, yeah, she didn't really, but her shoulders come off the... I was trash at this point. This is like 12:35, and I'm like 25 Miller High Lifes deep. We've had a bunch of shots, and even I'm like, that's not a real car. Lead it into my friends, and like, yeah, we know that. Stop yelling at our face. Like, this is MatthewJames-ia, and I'll get blackout drunk if I want to.
What was your how do you feel about wrestling right now? Post WrestleMania.
I always get the post Mania blues around now, and usually the Raw after Mania helps because something exciting will happen, but nothing really exciting happened. They actually pulled one of the worst bait and switches in years because, and I knew it was going to be a gaga finish, but Seth Rollins and Kofi put their titles up against each other.
Yeah, what was the deal with that?
Monday
What happened?
night, they were just like, "You're the best, I'm the best. Let's best it out." And Shane McMahon's like, debatable, but I'll let it slide. So they fought for it, and then Sheamus and Cesaro just attacked them, and then they turned it into a Teddy Long tag team match, and that was basically it.
And they each held on to their respective belts.
Yeah, and they went on, and they're like, "We'll finish this some other time," and then the crowd boos, and they're like, "But for now, we want to face you in a tag team match," and like hoping the crowd's gonna be like, "Yeah," the crowd's like, "You can fuck yourself." We thought we were gonna see the first ever
unification.
Is the Universal supposed to be above or is it just replacing the WCW?
Alex, is the universe bigger than the world?
How many? What's the term? Is it Triple Crown?
I don't know.
Is that the term?
The Grand Slam.
Yeah. How many Grand Slam champions do we have right now?
Currently in WWE, let me count. There are 0 Grand Slam champions because to be a Grand Slam champion, you have to have every belt that the company has. There aren't tiers. The Universal and the WWE aren't on a tier. You win that belt and you win this belt. And someday I'm going to be justified in my ranting that there are no Grand Slam champions. I'm not saying there were not in the past. Like Shawn Michaels, the likes of those people, they were Grand Slam champions at the time. Right. Because I'm saying there are no current superstars who have held every belt that they are eligible for in the company. And people are like, "Oh, Matt, Brock Lesnar or Kofi's not eligible for Seth Rollins' belt because he's in SmackDown." Then explain Monday night when they had a match for the belt and one of them could have walked away.
Becky Lynch has both belts.
Yeah, she's got both belts. She was eligible. That's another thing I said leading up to it. So
if Becky Lynch wins the tag title, is she Grand Slam champion?
She's really just a Triple Crown because there's only 3 belts that are eligible for the women. But I'm saying to be a man's current world champion or Grand Slam champion.
Do both nights have tag champions?
Yeah, both brands have tag champions.
4.
So that's what's stopping Roman Reigns right now. So if Roman Reigns is the closest, Kofi's also close too. If he won Seth's belt the other night, I think he would have done it because they've had the SmackDown. Kofi would have been a Grand Slam, the first
actual.
So when somebody does it,
right,
I'm going to be justified in all my ranting because they're going to go, "And now Roman Reigns, the true Grand Slam champion of WWE," or they'll come up with some other name for it, but I will be justified in all my ranting and raving over the last 2 years that there are no current Grand Slam champions. The Universal title and the WWE title are not on the same tier. I'm not saying one's bigger than the other, but you have to win both of them.
Right.
You can't just...
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels was a Grand Slam champion because he won the European, Intercontinental, Heavyweight, and Tag Team Championships. It's a Grand Slam until you add a 5th base, which they've done. They've added 10 bases. So to hit a Grand Slam now, there's got to be 10 people on base. You have to hit a home run. The last analogy didn't line up perfectly, but you know what I'm saying.
Double Grand Slam plus 2.
Something's going to happen when Roman wins the tag team champions when they're on Fox or whatever happens.
Yeah.
Sometime in the next 18 months or 2 years, somebody's going to do this accomplishment and WWE is going to have to acknowledge that like this guy holds every belt that we have.
And then you're going to blow up the internet and tag everyone.
I'm going to be like, "Look at this. I'm going to document for 2 years. I've been yelling at the top of my lungs."
It's one of my favorite things. Like it just pops up on Facebook every now and then. Someone will tag Matt in like
your thoughts. Oh, yeah, everyone trolls me now. They're
the
like,
old conversation comes back again.
They're like, "Thought." Justin wrote that today. He's like, "Thoughts," and I was like, "No." And then the whole thing. And my friend Nick's like, "Just will you concede that this is your made up rules?" And that I'm like, "No, this should be the rules that everyone plays by."
Oh, this one's new. It doesn't count. No,
just
counts.
Like, why would you want to settle for calling yourself the top of the everything, the Grand Slam champion, knowing that there's belts out there you haven't held that you could very well hold? Why would you want to refer to yourself as that?
So does Kofi have to win the 205 belt now too?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because he's over 205 pounds, so he's not eligible for it. But I think that I think that Kofi wants to win whatever else he's got to win, the Universal Championship, and I think he will. So Seth Rollins is really close, but he needs the SmackDown tag belts. Roman, same thing, needs the SmackDown tag belts, and Kofi needs the Universal Championship. So that's who's closest right now. Kevin Owens is also close, I think. And yeah, Kevin Owens is also really close.
Finn.
I think he's missing like one tag team championships, and I think Finn has not had the U.S.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely had the
I
IC,
forgot about the US.
and he's got the IC right now. But I think I'll have to look at that one. Finn's close too, but he needs the WWE Championship also.
You know what we forgot about? We forgot about the return of the Doctor.
Oh
of
my god,
Thugonomics?
that's right, because it's not on our list here.
It
Talk about
it wasn't a match.
pop-up moment, dude. I was yelling at the top of my lungs. I knew exactly what was happening. And Michael Cole's like, since 2002. And I'm like, actually, that was 2003. He started becoming the Doctor of Thugonomics. Did you pick up a book, Michael Cole? I loved it. And as soon as the Babe Ruth started going, I was like, Cena! And they're like, Cena's not Babe Ruth. And I was like, you fucking shut your mouth. Cena's Babe Ruth and Ted Williams rolled into one. And then Cena's music hits, and I was flipping out, dude.
A lot of people were upset because he was decked out in Yankee gear. Because isn't John Cena like historically he's from
like,
Lowell, right?
Yeah, West Newbury, but he what's he gonna do? Like he's not there to heel out.
You gotta
He's
pander.
there to be the guy, and he was saying that he's the Babe, and the Babe was a Red Sox and a Yankee.
It's true. You can't deny that. But he came out. He roasted Elias. Elias had a funny bit. Like playing in a band with himself.
Yeah, that was good. They're doing the Mick Foley sort of thing.
He's one guy, like the first time I saw him I was like, I hate everything about this person.
Right.
I never want to see him ever again. And then like when he shows up now, it's like, okay, it's time for some Elias.
They're giving him the best stuff. This is the second year in a row we got interrupted by John Cena and The Undertaker, because the next night on Raw,
Right, yeah.
he goes, the next person that interrupts me is a dead man. And me and my friend Nick just stood up. We just stood up, and then Taker hit, and we cried.
How much do you think Taker made for that?
All of it. I don't care. Give it all of them. Give him whatever we made the night before. Give it to Taker. And I love, people are like, well, why didn't he show up the night before? Because Taker's not selfish, you guys. Taker
It's true.
knows that is about those guys. He can't really do that, but he's glad to show up. And he's not protecting his streak anymore. So what's the point of coming back to pad the numbers to be like, 25-2 or whatever the
Who
heck
gives
he's
a
going
shit
to be.
now?
And we're not done seeing him. He's going to work whatever that is in Saudi Arabia, because those guys pay they're oil billionaires, quad
The
billionaires,
crown
who
jewel
had
matches.
literally no idea what money's worth. So they're like, we'll give you $2 million for a match. Is that what cost? And they're like, yeah, that's what it costs.
That's
Sorry.
true.
That's what it costs. Shawn Michaels like didn't wrestle for 8 years, and the Saudis are like $3 million. And he's like, yeah, I'll probably just wrestle.
Well, there's at least two guys with.
Wait, that was
ethics
wait,
for,
Shawn? Did Shawn do it in Saudi? No, I think he did it.
I thought it was.
No, yeah, no.
Triple
he
H
did do it in
ripped his
Saudi.
pec and then couldn't wrestle the rest of the match.
Yeah,
And then Kane lost his wig
yeah, it was
and his
rough,
mask.
It was a rough morning for the
for all the gents.
for all the gents there. I love those shows because I love that was the one, the Super Show was in Australia, so it happened at like 5 a.m. here. So I was like, everyone come over, I'm making Bloody Marys. And I had like 6 or 7 people over at 5 in the morning yelling at wrestling, drinking Bloody Marys. It was great.
I mean, that sounds like a good time to me.
Dude, I love drinking and doing wrestling. I'm 35. I guess I'm not getting married or having kids, so I might as well just keep
Might as well enjoy it
pounding
while you
drinks
can.
and
What's real quick, because
Did we do
turns
an
out
hour already?
Yeah, I mean we've done an hour plus.
No, sorry.
What's what are you doing these days? What's going on with indie stuff?
The local scene, I'm still ring announcing for Blitzkrieg, which is kind of the big shiny product in the area, Blitzkrieg Pro, and that's on Facebook, Blitzkrieg Pro. Pioneer Valley Professional Wrestling, though I love them, I've been ousted as ring announcer and commissioner.
What?
I was getting ready to be commissioner last time we spoke, last year around this time.
Right.
And then we were taken over by the Massachusetts State Athletic Commission, which then became the National Athletic Commission. And then we realized we had been duped, but Alex Cypher already had the power anyway. So I lost my job at Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling, but I've started a new endeavor, which is Western Mass Wrestling. And that is my brand new, that's where all my focused energy is on right now, is Western Mass Wrestling.
I saw your T-shirts.
Yeah, you know what? I should have brought you a T-shirt. Sorry, but
It's okay.
I really need people.
I should have bought one.
I gave away too many T-shirts, so I really need some people to buy some T-shirts. I really kind of overestimated when I bought 100 T-shirts. I really overestimated the drawing power of Western Mass Wrestling.
You got to get the right size allocation while you're at it too.
That's the other thing too, because I was like, I'm getting 100 T-shirts. Who wants one? And they're like, I'll take a 5X. I'll take a 5X. I'll take a 5X. And I was like, well, I don't have any 5Xs because those were $12 a piece.
I got a medium.
Yep. I'm sitting on 50 smalls. Anybody?
Anybody? You gonna put it together as a cape?
If we sew 7 together.
So so Western Mass Wrestling is kind of my thing. Our next event, I believe, will be May 5th, and then we're looking in June sometime. And it's just, this is what I'm going to do now. I'm not invited to Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling. I'm going to run my 6 or 7 shows a year and kind of give back to wrestling. We had a great inaugural event on March 31st, and it was we had guys like JT Dunn, who hasn't been wrestling in New England in a long time, pro wrestling savior JT Dunn, Cold Steel Chuck O'Neill, who is a legit MMA guy, Eric Spicely, who had a knockout 2 days before in an actual MMA competition.
No shit.
Had a match with us. Ace Romero, who hasn't wrestled in this area in a long time, came out and was my champion against PvP. Kind of invaded, even though they were not invited. And as proof that they were not invited, I watched the cop give Alex Cypher a parking ticket where he parked to try to run in and invade my show, and then instead got a parking ticket and then lost the match, which is great. So, but I'm just bringing in guys that haven't been around, or ladies that haven't been around that you haven't seen in PvP. Some of them haven't been to Blitzkrieg Pro either. Just guys that haven't been in this area. I'm just going to pick my spots and quietly run my promotion and hope that Pioneer Valley Professional Wrestling doesn't bother me too much. Alex Cypher in particular, because obviously I still want the best for Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling. It was founded by Justin Sexy Jesus and Tunis.
You tell him Sexy Jesus.
Tell him. And then
how is he? Did he hurt his leg or something?
No, yeah, he tore his MCL in a match 2 weeks ago that I was ring announcing at in Blitzkrieg Pro. And
is that the side one? ACL's center.
No, MCL is the better one to tear. If you're gonna tear one,
oh okay,
it's got the good Hodgkins. There's a better one to tear, and it's the MCL. So it's like less.
It still sucks.
It still sucks, and like his rib is still messed up, and like he keeps re-injuring that. So.
Like most of those, the ACLs or those like. They don't even need specific trauma. Sometimes it's just like repetitive use.
Yeah, well, this was a trauma. This is him getting thrown out of the ring. But that's kind of the deal with the local scene right now. Blitzkrieg Pro is, I'm not sure when this is coming out, but this is 4/13. He will be, that's this Saturday. They'll be in Westfield, Massachusetts. They will also be May 19th. Before Money in the Bank in Hartford, Connecticut. We're doing a show.
Money in the Bank's in Hartford?
Yeah, May 19th. So we're doing a show from like 3 to 5, and then the wrestling show, or 2 to 5, and then the wrestling is 2 hours after that. So you can come get a double dose of wrestling that day,
nice.
Which is what people are looking for. And that's basically
that's one thing. Like, Connecticut might not really have professional sports teams, but because the WWE is from Connecticut, they take care of Hartford.
Yeah.
Well, they do. They do stop by 2 or 3 times a year. They don't come to Springfield anymore, which I think they'd rather go to the Mullen Center, which actually I think fits more than the Springfield Civic Center, ironically. But
I think the Mullen Center's a lot bigger.
If anything, like sometimes dark shows come to Springfield.
I think they have a deal with Mohegan, so they're probably not going to come in under the MGM banner, which is what's
that's fair.
The Mass Mutual Center is now. So
right.
So like, I mean, that's just me guessing.
Is there a concern that 3 promotions is too many for the area?
Well, I don't really care. There's there's other guys. There's people that cross state lines to come wrestle here on our turf. Because they know that we've built up this area. Like between Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling and Blitzkrieg, we've built up this area so these other shitbag promotions can come and run and get 300 people. And like, I have nothing against their fans or the people that go to see them. God bless. Go see as much as you can. But like, hopefully people know the difference between terrible wrestling and Blitzkrieg and Western Mass and PvP. People who actually care and put on good shows and take a long time to draw out angles and don't rush everything. One of these shitbag promotions, which is really what I'm going to call it, their first show, like they're like, we're crowning tag team champions and a heavyweight champion. Well, I don't know who the fuck wrestles there, so why don't we figure that out first? Why don't we take a couple shows and maybe build? No, oh, you bought belts already? Cool, throwing them on whoever that doesn't even live near here. So,
They had coupons for those belts. So,
yeah, exactly.
It's like that old Al Snow interview where like he's teaching a bunch of kids how to wrestle and stuff, and he's like, who here has a finisher?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And all the kids, everyone raises their hand. Oh,
Right.
I gotta. He's like, you don't have a finisher. Who have you beaten with it? You haven't beaten anyone with it.
If you're in an Al Snow seminar and he asks a question and you are dumb enough to answer that fucking question, you deserve what's coming to you.
Every
if
question
I was
is
in an
rhetorical.
Al Snow
I wouldn't answer
seminar,
anything.
I would keep my fucking mouth shut. Because any answer you say is the dumbest thing that anyone has ever said in their entire life. And I usually agree with his answer.
Yeah.
On few occasions, I don't agree with it. But, like, I usually agree with what he's saying. But it's just like, hey, who thinks this, this, and this? I'm like, this is a trap. And guys are like, yeah, that does sound good. And I'm like, oh, guys,
Even
no.
if you had the right answer, he'll make it wrong for you
Yeah.
somehow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just don't. Don't answer any question that Al Snow ever asks. That's would be the best advice I have in wrestling.
What's he doing these days?
That.
Is he just traveling the world teaching people?
Seminars and like independent things, and if he's not a part of AEW, I'd be shocked because they just kind of grabbed anybody who. God, that's a huge roster right now.
They got Kenny the Cleaner, right? That's his baby.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega. They got all those guys, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Is TNA still a thing?
Yeah, TNA's still a thing on like I don't know. The Discovery Adventure channel. I don't really know. Like, I honestly don't think they're on TV anymore. Because I saw the other night, they're like, if you have the internet, you have TNA. And I was like, so that means TNA does not have a TV deal right now.
I wonder if
If you have the internet, you have Opinions May Vary podcast.
Yeah, it's true. If you have a cell phone,
I had to set up an Instagram highlight reel of how to listen to us because a friend was like, how do I listen to your show? And I was like,
Just
there's a few options.
search Opinions May Vary.
Yeah, we're one of, typically when I used to search us every day because I was so excited about having a new podcast. We were the number one.
The grizzled, like so jaded by podcasts.
Yep.
369.
OMVpodcast.com.
Nice.
That's a podcast for every day in a year plus some.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. A year of your life has been wasted doing. I was like, don't say wasted. Don't say wasted. I said wasted.
Doing your way.
One of my favorite things now is that we're essentially immortal. It's like if I die, my family could still listen to my voice for at least 300 hours.
Yeah. Or until JR stops paying the like hosting.
True.
Gets yelled at for 10 years from now. His wife's going through the thing. She's like, what's this $35 a month recurring for the last 10 years of our life?
Go ahead and cancel that.
Yeah, just listen to the voicemail he left you.
Only immortal for as long as the internet exists.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Or until the bills are paid.
Exactly, which is like how all my music is. I've got all my music forever as long as there's a cloud. As long as there's somebody else's computer that it's on. Have you ever heard that? They're like, there is no cloud. It's just other people's computers.
Yeah.
It's a server somewhere.
Yeah, it's other people's stuff, and you're trusting them not to steal your stuff.
Not to do it. But iTunes is great because I spent like probably $1,000 on iTunes over the year and then lost that computer. Like just that computer broke. And then I was like, oh, I guess I just don't have that music anymore. And then like 2 years later, they're like, hey,
remember
check this out. And they just reopened the file paths to it, and now I have all this music that I paid for over the years.
Who knew?
And then I have Spotify and XM, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
Yep.
I've got every song I ever wanted anyway.
Can't argue with that.
369.
Wrestling 369, 3 nice.
How do we do on time?
We're a little over. A smidge, but you know, we got the important stuff in there. We got the stuff that people want to hear.
I mean, I'm only on once a year now, so
it's true.
We
got to relish it, you know, while we can.
See at MatthewJames-ia 36, you guys.
MatthewJames-ia 36.
Any quick, maybe we'll go back in a year and
Predictions?
see if I get any predictions for WrestleMania 36.
I'm gonna say they're somehow gonna screw Asuka out of something. who's in NXT right now? I don't know. I don't know enough about wrestling to predict. Brock, after he gets murdered by DC, I don't think he'll come back. I think he's probably done.
I think Triple H is off for a year. I don't think Triple H will be on next year's WrestleMania. I do think
So
Undertaker will have
make informed
something,
guesses.
but I think that Undertaker will probably be going in the Hall of Fame next year, unless they're going to wait till they're in Texas to do that.
Triple H is going to call someone up from NXT and then tell him he can do great things and be a big star, and then give himself the title.
Then somehow Triple H gets the championship. I would also say I think Tommy or Aleister Black, I could see him being in some sort of championship program
Getting
with
a
someone
push.
like Randy Orton. I could see him being that. I think that Kairi Sane, pirate. I almost said pirate hooker, just because like from saying pirate hooker my whole life. Kairi Sane, pirate hooker, will probably be in some sort of main event situation. At least something with that pirate ship. Like there's a goddamn pirate ship there in Tampa Bay, so there's something. Main event, I think we'll be back to the men, and we'll probably be Seth Rollins in some sort of thing.
She should elbow drop like off of the sails or something.
Something.
Off the mast
Yeah,
from the crow's nest.
pretty. Yeah. That would look awesome.
That's my WrestleMania 36 position.
Seth Rollins versus
Someone
Kevin
for
Owens.
something.
You
Oh,
heard it
yeah,
here
there we go.
first.
Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship.
Yep. And with a surprise appearance by Cody, what's his face?
Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes.
No. I don't know. What can happen in a
You
year?
got an eye roll from that one.
I did.
I don't know.
I did.
I'm not sure.
Proud of that
I'm
one.
not sure what big call-ups or what's going to happen, but it'll be a fun year, and I'll see you guys in it.
Well, yeah, we'll see you then, man. This has been a lot
Remember
of fun.
to pull this up in a year from now.
Yeah,
Right,
we'll pull.
Well, Alex and I will be dead, but you'll
Hunter-
still be.
Yeah, because you'll take the microphone and lodge it in someone's skull.
And I'm very old, so
Make sure to delete this if I'm in jail.
Yep.
Don't
Yep.
let this be the podcast.
it's
that
not
we
evidence,
listen to.
right? Yeah.
There's no. Yeah. You're going by.
I'm playing a character.
You're going by a fake name.
character of somebody who would bury a microphone in someone's skull.
Jared, remind me to go to one of Matt's trivia nights and just start yelling out bullshit.
Oh yeah, we're gonna mark out and we're gonna.
Real quick way to get a microphone in your skull.
Where have I heard that before?
You won't do it.
So,
The
Matt,
answer is Bruce Wayne.
thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys.
It's a
Thanks
lot
for
of
having me
fun.
back.
It's one of our. I'm looking. Look forward to every April because it's a good time. It's fun to talk
Spring
about
is
wrestling.
here, and so is Matt James.
So I can hit Matt with a bunch of, hey man, what's the deal with this? And he
Right.
gives me an
So
explanation.
one thing the gifts haven't really gotten to the bottom of. Can you shine some light on this?
What's going on with this guy?
Kane's a mayor now.
Kane is a mayor.
I'm not surprised. Who's gonna strap him?
I'm not surprised.
Don't get chokeslammed.
motherfucker. That was Nate Diaz after he beat Conor McGregor. This has been fun. Go see all the wrestling and support Mr. Matthew James. Go to trivia night. From what? Okay,
Western Mass Trivia Night.
Western Mass Trivia Nights. I got someone because you did Office Trivia like a year ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And some of my friends sent me the questions that you asked, and I was like, damn. Like these are
Oh yeah, no,
these
I'm
are tough
I
pulls.
do not do. Yeah, because one time I did a Harry Potter trivia and like 12 teams got a perfect score, and I was like, I gotta try harder.
Wow.
But we're gonna let you go because you have to literally go do trivia right now. And this has been a lot of fun. Thanks so much for coming on. Go support local events, live events, and trivia and all that stuff. A lot of fun.
Say the number.
I'm going to. I'm getting there. I think that's gonna do it for this week, though. So until next time, I have been JR,
I'm Alex.
And I'm Matthew James.
and this has been episode 369
Nice.
of Opinions May Vary.